Hello everyone, welcome back. I am Neeraj. Continuing on the Chai Router demo application. In the last session, we had worked on the create new post functionality, this one. And in this session, I am going to work on the edit a post functionality. So editing and creating a new one. So that would be, so we will reuse a few components from the create new post. So basically, so the way I have planned is that I am going to reuse this form. So I'm not going to create a new one. And my thinking is that when a user clicks on the post detail page, so he would be presented with two buttons, one for the edit one and second one for the delete. And in this session, we will be working on the edit one. So let's do that. So first of all, so here we will add two buttons. So let's do that. So in our post detail page, so just below this title, so I'll start with a div, and we will have a button, and this one, so we will have add some class. So let's say bg green 800, and a padding of, let's say, padding 2, and let's label it as edit. So let's save and let's see how it appears. So okay, so we should also add some, so we can make it the text to white. So text white. So this should look good now. Okay, fine. So we will also, just like this one, so we'll also have one, I'll duplicate it, and very simply, just instead of the green, so I'll replace it with the red, and let's label it as delete. Okay, so there's two buttons will start appearing. So like these two buttons, they start appearing, but we have to bind it. So we need to render the same form in this content placeholder. So let's do that. So in order to do that, so we will have, it would be, first of all, so we need to render a get, we need to initiate a get request so that we will render the form. So AJAX get, and it would be, so post, and we will need to have the pass on the ID also. So the placeholder post dot id, and then, so this route we have to create it. So don't worry, we will create this route, and hx target would be, I think our placeholder is content container, and hx swap would be inner HTML. So that way, so when user clicks on this one, a new request would be initiated, get request would be initiated, and he will be presented with a form. Okay, so let's work on the routing part. So here in our main functions, so for the create one, so we created a separate route. You might remember that we have already created this sub routing, and cause the reason being that editing, deletion, and the detail page, in all the three routes, so we need to fetch the post content. So that is why we created this middleware postctx, and this common logic has been moved to the context middleware. So here I'm going to create two routes, r.get, and this is going to be it will take on the, cause we have already got this the post and the ID as the parent route. So we will simply provide the edit one, and let's call it edit post handler, and I'll duplicate it also for the post request also. The same handler will take on the post request as well. So let's save it, and we will come down here, and we will need to work on this handler. Okay, so here we will start a func, and our func name would be this one, edit post handler, and w http dot response writer, and R, that would be a pointer to HTTP dot request. For the get route, so let's label it as the get part. So this is also going to be a two-step process, two part, because this same handler uh, is collecting the get request and the post request also. So I am just provided the label here, post part. In the get part, we need to simply fetch the post from the context, and we will need to render the form, and we will pass on this post data, and we will pre-populate the input areas according to the post content. Also, we will need to move this to the, because we need to fetch the at least the post data for the very first time, and also we will create this map at the very top. So, and we will need to, the form is post form, and so that way, so let us see what happens. So we should get our form when user clicks on this one. So let's say first post, click on edit. So we are getting the form. So here idea is that we will pre-populate the data from the database, and the data we have already got it. So in the using this context middleware, so we are already having the access to this post. So we will come down to our form template, and here we will have just assign the value equals, and post dot title, and for the text area, so we will again do the same thing, post dot description. That's it. So that way we should get this input areas pre-populated. So fine, so far so good. And now we have to post it. So in order to post the data, so since we are going to use the same form for the create and the update as well, so we need to have some way so that if the user is creating a new post, so then the whenever a user clicks on the submit button, so the form should be posted to this route. Otherwise, if the user is editing this form, so the form should be posted to the route which we created here, this new route, and the route would be post slash edit. I mean the ID slash edit. So in order to do that, there can be two ways. So one way could be from the controller, from our this handler. So we can pass on that route, or else we can have a if else block here in the template itself. So let's go by this way. So we will have a if else statement in the template in this very HTML template. So let's start if block, and if we will check if post dot id is present, and else, and end. So if the post dot id is not present, that means this is going to be a entirely new form, entirely new post request, and the post request should go to the create one. But otherwise, if the post ID is present, then we will simply need to change the URL, and we will here say dot post dot ID. So far so good. So we have done most of the work in the on this the template side. So let's work on our post part. So here also, so first of all, so we need to check the method of this request. So this is pretty simple. We have already worked in the last session. So we will check with the r dot method, and we will check if it's a post request. Then we will do the post logic. So first of all, so We will write a statement. So we will write the SQL query. So it would be update posts. So we need to update the our database table. So this is a very simple plain query. Update post set. We need to set the title equals and $1 as the placeholder, because we will provide in the while we execute the query, and description equals $2. That would be second variable, and we will add the where clause where id equals, and we will say $3. So we need to pass on this 3 while we execute this query. So we will need to provide to pass on these 3 values, and we will say query error, and now we will need to execute it. So dbcon dot prepare. So first we need to prepare this our SQL statement. So we will say stmt, and we will need to check for any error. We can also create a new function, helper function, because we are checking many places again and again, like if error is not equal to nil. So we can create that, no problem. Log dot println, and we will provide on the our error. Otherwise, if there is no error, then we will proceed, and we will try to execute this query. So that is also very simple, and we will say this also returns some error. So we will say query dot exec, and here we have to provide the our the values for this placeholders. So first of all, and also, so actually let us also create some variable. So first of all, say we will parse the form, then we will create some variable, and r dot post form dot get, and we will provide the key, and I'll duplicate it, and the second key would be description, and it would be also description. So first we will provide title, and second we will provide description, and the third we have to provide the post ID. So since we already have the post from the context, but here comes a problems. So we will figure it out, no problem. So this is saying that post.id is undefined, because from the context, although we added and we added the post, but that is being an interface, and we have to use the type assertion, so that we need to tell that that the data what this post variable is holding, that is a type of model, post struct. So let's do that. So first of all, let's go this way. So we will assert it to be a type of model dot post. So okay, fine. So we have executed it, and also we will check for any error. So if error is not nil, then we will log the error, and we will say error. So if there is no error, so that means we are very good so far. So we will collect the number of rows affected, and it also returns some error also, but we will suppress it, and we will use rows affected, this function, and we can very simply log this message as well. Fine. Okay, so let's test it. So looks like everything looks fine, and hopefully it should work, and we should not get any error. So first of all, so let me refresh it. Article list, first post, going to edit it. So I'm saying, and let's save. So looks like there is no error, and we are getting the number of rows affected 1. So if we go to article list, so we are getting this post got edited correctly. So but let us also add a success message. In order to set the success message, so first of all, so I am going to check for the rows affected. So rows affected equals 1. The reason being, in our query, the way we have written this query, so it will either update exactly one record or it will not. So that is why, so there would be at the most there can be only one single row that could be affected. So, and here we will see context, and the key would be success, and the message would be, let's say, post successfully updated. Fine, so let's save it, and let us try to update it again. Let's save. It looks to be working fine. So we got this message also, success message. And let us try to add a new post also. So I'll create a new post. Let's say new test post. We'll copy this and put the description. So let's save. So nothing happens. So looks like somewhere broken. So let us check form. This looks to be fine. Okay, we don't need to close this form just right here. So let's save. So okay, fine. So post successfully created. So so right now our application in this application, so we can create a new post and we can edit a post also. Let's say again try to update it. So we are creating a post, and also we are updating it. And the thing that is remaining is the delete one. So that we will complete that in the next session. You can read more about the GoHTML template at the documentation. And I must say that if you are familiar with the Django templates, GoHTML templates are a kind of similar. And in the template, so we can have our if-else statements, we can have our for loop, and we can just do many things. So while working with the HTMX, so definitely, so we are going to use the GoHTML template itself. So you can have a look at that. Okay, so that's all for this session, and I'll see you next. So till then, take care and happy coding.